continue with reading another part of Federalist number 10. This is the fifth part. Remember, I said when we go through Federalist number 10, I just want to read it at first, get you to get the words, think about them a little bit, then we'll come back and just reflect on them a little bit more. Think about them a little bit more, talk about them a little bit more. Okay. The paragraph starts, "It is in vain to say that enlightened statesmen will be able to adjust these clashing interests and render them all subservient to the public good. Enlightened statesmen will not always be at the helm." This is very important. Enlightened statesmen will not always be at the helm. He is here even admitting that regardless of how virtuous even if the citizens are, how wise the citizens are, even if they were all wise, still there are those times that an enlightened statesman will not be in office. So he says we got to make sure that it doesn't damage the system, it doesn't hurt our future. So keep that in mind. Very realistic. Nor in many cases can such an adjustment be made at all without taking into view indirect and remote considerations, which will rarely prevail over the immediate interests which one party may find in disregarding the rights of another or the good of the whole. See, sometimes the ones that have the power, they come to power, they don't necessarily care for the other side or the good of the whole. That could happen too, so beware. Now the next paragraph. The inference to which we are brought is that the causes of faction cannot be removed, and that relief is only to be sought in the means of controlling its effects. So we cannot remove the causes of faction. It's just kind of anytime you're dealing with human beings, human nature, society, it's going to come with it. So you've just got to make sure that it doesn't get out of hand. You gotta make sure you control the effects, the side effects. Okay, the next paragraph. If a faction consists of less than a majority, relief is supplied by the Republican principle, which enables the majority to defeat its sinister views by regular votes. It may clog the administration. It may convulse the society, but it will be unable to execute and mask its violence under the forms of the Constitution. So minority comes in power. If it's a Republican government, you can block it before it does a lot of damage. It might make a lot of noise, it might do some bad things, but you can control it. Now here is the other important part. When a majority is included in the faction, the form of popular government, on the other hand, enables it to sacrifice to its ruling passion or interest both the public good and the rights of other citizens. A realistic look at things. The majority takes over, it'll be willing to do anything to get its way. It won't think about the public good in the long run. It won't really much think about the rights of other citizens. It says, no, I can get away with it. I'm going to do it and get away with it. So think about this when you read this, and we'll come back and revisit it. to secure the public good and private rights against the danger of such a faction, and at the same time to preserve the spirit and the form of popular government, is then the great object to which our inquiries are directed. That's what our energy and focus is going to be on. Be realistic. See, sometimes the minority faction might take over, sometimes the majority might take over, and we got to be realistic to make sure it doesn't get out of hand. Let me add that it is a great desideratum by which alone this form of government can be rescued from the opprobrium under which it has so long labored, and be recommended to the esteem and adoption of mankind. Desideratum means a sincere desire. You really want this government to do well. However, opprobrium is in 2 centuries ago, it comes from the Latin word, means disgrace. It's kind of disgraced us, what we've seen in these other states. So it's our great desire to make